Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. Everybody, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's Thursday, wow, this week has gone so fast, is going wonderful. Guys, how you guys doing? This is Dr. Joaquin. We are hitting it bright and late for our pharmacy Know Your Pharmacist podcast, guys, and I'm super excited actually to be with you guys today. Thank you very much. Sending you all the virtual hugs and highs and hellos and handshakes. Hope everybody's just having a good one. But let's start this thing off. So Pharmacist Frontline here, guys. Big thing in the article coming up, meat allergy caused by ticks. Have you guys heard of that? Have you guys seen the headlines on this? So apparently a meat allergy caused by ticks, tick spit, is now getting more common. And this is truly according to the CDC. So I'm just kind of reading off of an article I saw from the Associated Press. I thought this was interesting, right? Meat allergy caused by ticks. What's going on? At least 100,000 people in the United States have become allergic to red meat since 2010 because of a weird syndrome triggered by tick bites. Interesting. So, according to the CDC's second report, estimated that now as many as 450,000 Americans have developed the same allergy, making it now the 10th most common food allergy in the U.S. That's a red meat allergy. Interesting, right? So health officials, according to the article by the Associated Press, said that they are not aware of any confirmed deaths, but people with the allergy have described it as bewildering and terrifying. So interesting. The reaction to the ticks is known as alpha-gal syndrome, occurs when an infected person eats beef, pork, venison, or meat from mammals, or ingests milk, gelatin, or other mammal products. So it's not caused by a germ, but it's actually a sugar, alpha-gal, that is in meat from animals and in tick spit. So when the sugar enters the body through the skin, it triggers an immune response and can lead to a severe allergic reaction. Weird. Scientists had seen reactions in patients taking a cancer drug that was made in mouse cells containing alpha-gal sugar, but in 2011, researchers reported that it could be spread through tick bites too. What do you know? Kind of odd, right? You guys know that tick bites could cause a meat allergy. What's up, everybody? Know Your Pharmacist live stream today. Joaquin, happy to be here with you. Anyways, tied to the Lone Star tick, which besides its Texas-themed name, is most common in eastern and southern United States. About 4% of all U.S. cases have been on the eastern ends of New York's Long Island. So one of the studies released Thursday examined 2017 through 2022 test results from the main U.S. commercial lab looking for alpha-gal antibodies. They noted that the number of people testing positive rose from about 13,000 in 2017 to 19,000 in 2022. Wild, right? So tick bites causing a red meat allergy, and the CDC is locking onto this thing now, and it continues to go, I guess, up for whatever reason. Experts say it may be up for a variety of reasons, including Lone Star ticks, expanding range for more people coming into contact with ticks, or more doctors just learning about it and ordering tests for it. So it says also many doctors are not. The second survey was a survey last year of 1,500 U.S. primary care doctors and health professionals. The survey found nearly half had never heard of alpha-gal syndrome, and only 5% felt that they said that they would be confident that they could diagnose it. Guys, I've never heard of alpha-gal syndrome. I didn't know ticks could cause a red meat allergy. As a pharmacist, I don't take red meat allergies into the drug profile as much because we're not really as much meat-based. You can get gelatin and stuff, but right, it's not going to be in there. We take it into consideration, but it's not going to be interacting in terms of drug interactions too much. I mean, talking warfarin maybe, right? But it's just interesting here. So survey found that doctors, 5% only felt confident that they could diagnose this red meat tick allergy. Interesting enough. And researchers used the information to estimate that the number of people with the allergy is about 500,000 right now. So people with the syndrome can experience symptoms including hives, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, difficulty breathing, dizziness, swelling of the lips, throat, tongue, eye, or lids. Unlike some other food allergies, which occur soon after eating, these reactions hit hours later. So some people can get, stomach symptoms. Some people have to carry an EpiPen, right? And that's creepy. I mean, that sucks. Avoiding tick bites. I mean, here down in New Mexico, I know, we've probably already seen enough West Nile as it is, and some of these cases like that. And I mean, just don't want to know that we could be perpetuating some sort of allergy central to tick bites, and bummer. Anyways, I hate ticks. So either way, put that bug spray on, everything like that. Check your dogs, and let's just make sure that, if you have a question, like it's maybe even worth letting your doctor know that you got bit by a tick or whatever it was, right? So keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, appreciate you hanging with me on today's Know Your Pharmacist Pharmacy Frontline live stream here. So we're talking about the tick red meat allergy deal that's been caused, and the CDC's been warning of it. Have you guys? I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Please comment it in those comments if you guys have heard about the ticks and the red meat allergy. I know we all hate bugs already, hate mosquitoes and all stuff like that, but creepy CDC and ticks. So currently, from the CDC website, the CDC is still saying that the burden of alpha gal syndrome, which is what the tick is infusing, a sugar that causes people to be allergic to red meat, the burden of alpha gal syndrome in the United States could be substantial given the large percentage of cases suspected to be undiagnosed due to nonspecific and inconsistent symptoms, challenges seeking healthcare, and lack of clinician awareness. So, if you're having a wide range of symptoms like hives, itchy rash, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, drop in blood pressure, again, swelling of lips, tongue, throat, eyelids, most people are like, well, I'm allergic to this, that, and the other. And you think, well, your allergies are causing this. Have you ever considered you may have a meat allergy caused by a tick? Crazy. So preventing tick bites is important. And guys, that's that. I don't think anybody's ever been trying to get bit by a tick. I just wanted to make sure that we brought that light to light out there. And, if you guys realize that this is going around, maybe the more awareness, the better. And that's all we could do. If you're a doctor and you heard about these ticks, it's weird. Definitely got to find out about that for sure. So anyways, moving on, talking about AI in healthcare, guys, something that we definitely think is super important. Again, thank you everybody for joining me on my live stream tonight. Got Instagram going on one feed, and then we got the other feed with the ticker and everything here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Appreciate everybody for watching and tuning in, guys. If you find any of this information valuable, please be sure to share. Talk to me, ask your questions. You got questions that you can ask, get in that chat, and I will get to you on this stream either during or after, just depending on what goes on. So again, appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love and coming on. Want to find some good, valuable stuff for y'all. So anyways, Tech Talk, AI in healthcare, improving efficiency, enhancing care. So this was an interesting Medium article I found the other day, and this was talking about this person's opinion, I guess, right? Soner Matt Hasse. I'm not sure what this person does, but is a writer. So writing about how the future could look. And anyway, Soner wrote about the unstoppable shift. The future of healthcare hinges on value-based outpatient care and AI. Very interesting, right? So let me read this article to you. And I like the way I like the article because he kind of presents it in a way that's kind of clear and concise and easy to picture. So check this out. Just take a nice deep breath and listen to this. As we stand on the precipice of a new healthcare era, it becomes increasingly clear that the future is not within the confines of traditional hospital walls. The model of healthcare that has reigned supreme for the last century is experiencing a seismic shift, an evolution from volume to value, from reactive to proactive, from inpatient care to outpatient care, For the past decade, the healthcare industry has placed a significant emphasis on preventing readmission. The next 10 years, however, herald a paradigm shift. The focus will pivot towards an event, an even more ambitious goal: preventing admissions in the first place. The impetus for this challenge is compelling. We are moving from a disease focused model to a health focused one, with an emphasis on patient centric and outcome based care. Artificial intelligence, AI, and advanced medical imaging technologies, particularly point of care ultrasound, play a crucial role in this transformation. As we strive to keep patients healthy and in their homes, these tools will become our linchpins, enabling sophisticated triage and monitoring capabilities outside of traditional hospital settings. Imagine a world where patient monitoring happens continuously, not just when they manage to schedule a doctor's visit. Picture a health system that recognizes the potential health issues long before they necessitate hospital admission. This is not a mere fantasy, but a foreseeable reality made possible by the marriage of AI and point of care ultrasound. Outpatient care, with its focus on preventing disease, managing chronic conditions, and reducing unnecessary hospital admissions, is the inevitable and welcome future of healthcare. But to fully realize its potential, we must embrace AI driven medical imaging and make it accessible and affordable. The benefits are clear: improved health outcomes, reduced healthcare costs, and a system that prioritizes the needs and experiences of patients. The business model for the future of healthcare will not be focused merely on increasing volume, but rather on improving health outcomes, coordinating care, and cutting waste. In the words of Peter Drucker, the best way to predict the future is to create it. The future of healthcare is outpatient care. The time is now for us to foster this shift, to create a healthier world where patients get the right care at the right time in the right place. Let us all be bold and innovative for our patients, for our communities, and for our future. The era of value-based outpatient care is here, and it promises a revolution that we can all be a part of. So what I'm saying there is I think that's a solid article, and I think what this person is seeing as far as the future of AI hits on pretty much every single level, like as deep, right? So what you're getting at is hospital readmissions and healthcare costs and the burden of healthcare. And I mean, I've been harping on it all week already, but we're going to continue to. And we're going to continue to talk about how, AI is truly the preface of a new healthcare era, and to hopefully have everybody appreciate that for how cool that really is. So again, it's literally revolutionizing. When you're talking about the portion of data management for patients, it takes you to the next level. For healthcare systems, you've got revenue cycle management. So we were talking about inventory analysis, healthcare costs, and the burden of healthcare on, at the end of the day, this is not too much of a stretch in my opinion, but I would like to say the American taxpayer and or the insured American, right? Because if you are paying into insurance through either taxes or through your own personal plans, Medicare is the one that is paying the big bills, the big revenue on your healthcare costs. So I think it's really important to think about revenue cycle management in healthcare. The USA is already $1 trillion billion in debt, and we're only looking to go more into debt. And you think about trying to, target these things and transition towards what you would call value-based compensation and more comprehensive patient care. In the pharmacy world, value-based compensation equals, incentivizing pharmacies, for hitting metrics in expensive, burdensome disease states that can be perhaps maybe more preventable. But unfortunately, the world that has become is these incentives are also a tool that have become corporatized to vet out competition. So if you are being graded as a pharmacy on your metrics for how often somebody is picking up and repicking up their diabetes medication, If somebody misses their medication by X amount of days, if somebody has diabetes and is not taking a cholesterol medication and they're not adherent to their other medications, then the insurance can tell the pharmacy that we're going to pay you less money to fill the drug for the patient. So it's an interesting play that at the top level, when you're talking about revenue cycle management and all the leaky costs of healthcare from the top of the top, right? From we're talking Medicare and all those distributions and the way that goes. So ineffective billing practices come from ineffective management of all of it. And I think it's really cool to consider how AI can help revenue cycle management and help get that bottom line down. And this isn't because I'm talking about, systems necessarily need to make more money and people need to be in their, yachts more. This isn't for that. This is for freeing up costs in healthcare to thus perhaps chase better dollars after better things. And I think it's cool to highlight how AI is truly revolutionizing, again, revenue cycle management. So here's something that AI is helping with currently: claim denials. Denied claims can make basically practices lose lots of money. AI can actually help actively now identify areas of claims. So things like, I don't know, billing errors or things that might be disputed or something. Audits happen in the pharmacy world, and I can really talk about pharmacy billing over other medical billing. I'll tell you that right now. But for the fact of the matter is that medical billing is pretty much all the same to those degrees. You are going to be billing insurances for most services. Cash-based service models only get you so far in the field of medicine, because at the end of the day, medicine is trying to prevent life from dying, or trying to increase the quality of life. And anybody that's on the path closer to death is going to be charged out the wazoo for their healthcare, and that's unfortunate. So, thank you for the shout out there about incredible stuff. Appreciate you, Luis Acosta. Yes, sir. So, no, I think it's just something to talk about there, and to hopefully say that healthcare systems can better capture their revenue and things can't get leaky. And things get leaky because things like pharmacy benefit managers lobby their way into wherever, whatever bill that they can possibly get into to try to prove that they are worth something and that they can steal more money from the back end. So in your billing system, right, you've got your providers who get paid, you've got middlemen who pay, who claim that they're helping providers manage their services, and then you have the insurance who gets paid. So there's like at least generally three people along the chain of events of payment. And where you talk about freeing up dollars along all that way, hopefully that can help free up more money to be put back into community services and everything else. And I would hope to suggest that it's going to go all back that way. But it's going to take time to get there, and I would really hope to see that it can do that. Another thing, you pharmacy people, prior authorizations. Think about that one. When it comes to AI and insurance, prior authorizations are literally one of the ideal applications for AI, because it's such a transactional nature. So has anybody ever gotten an expensive medication that they have to go to the pharmacy and it's not covered for them? Well, okay, I can't have this. I have to have this medication. I'm going to die, right? My life will not be the same unless I have X med. So then what does your doctor have to do? Put in a prior authorization. And you guys might have heard the lecture from the pharmacy a billion times, or you might not. But a prior authorization is an override and appeal that the doctor has to put to the insurance. It takes a lot of time and effort to show that it's a medical necessity, and they have a reason why to tell you that, to get the medication covered for you by your insurance. Excuse me, not to tell you anything. Ideally, those situations are suggested to take by the doctor for, I don't know, usually say, I mean, pharmacies will tell patients, how long, pharmacists, how long, guys? Prior authorizations, 48 hours minimum, right? If you work in a pharmacy, like doctors will tell you that too, because pharmacies have to coordinate with the doctors and get on the phone and say, hey, this medication's not covered. Just wanted to let you know, X patient wants this, they need this ASAP. Like, can we get this stat? Click. And then from there, you may get the doctor direct, you may leave a message with the MA, you may just leave a message. And all you can do is kind of promise a 48-hour-ish window. And I think many people in the pharmacy industry have probably overpromised that in situations and underdelivered time after time. Something that I care about as a community pharmacist is making sure that that never happens, right? Like, we want to always overdeliver. That's what we should be striving for. So, some of the precedences that have been set because of, poor working conditions, where maybe the pharmacies, CVS and Walgreens have had so much money to explore with their money, and they can try all types of different things, from buying insurances and drug networks and whatever else, but they can also spend time on research. I'm sure people have seen, right? CVS has been really, really heavy researching and putting their innovation dollars into like the meta, right? And creating a pharmacy in the meta and that whole experience and how that's going to look. So that's really cool. But where they were sucking those dollars out was obviously their wages, their payroll, their employee help and their satisfaction, and then thus patient care. And at least, I mean, I could speak for the community, the pharmacies that have been affected, at least in New Mexico for sure. So beyond that, I mean, El Paso, I can say that too, but maybe the grass is greener on some other side somewhere else, and I just don't know about it yet, and that's fine. So I won't go too much even past that, but it's really cool to think that reducing overall claim errors that happen, hopefully taking that burden off, you can free up speed, accuracy, patient satisfaction, the patient experience. And then from what we even said before was, right, reducing hospital readmissions, reducing hospitalizations as a whole, hitting the preventative medicine from the top. So it's super cool, and that's why I'm still going to continue to pump AI, guys, for sure. Anyways, moving on to the next portion of the show. Turn those light bulbs on, folks. Enlightened Living, that's what we're talking about now. So today's Enlightened Living segment, talking about yoga. For those of you guys who saw me flipping on the grass earlier today, actually just wanted to make sure that it was a cool topic that we addressed in mind, body, wellness, right? When you are looking at things like men's health, something I can stand behind because I'm a guy, so it's easier to relate to, right? You can look at factors like in men's health that, put men at other problems. And so one of the biggest things, and granted, we'll get into this later, but men's health, men don't go to the doctor really until they retire, unless something is like seriously wrong. So, women are outliving men by like 5-6 years right now. For sure, men don't really seek their healthcare at all. So, I mean, men are losing in these stats. So I just want to talk about yoga and how it can help as far as, preventing the leading cause of death in men, which is cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease, is a big time outcome of significant amount of stress, which is shown and demonstrated by the hormone cortisol. So interestingly enough, talking about yoga is recognized as a form of mind-body medicine that integrates an individual's physical, mental, and spiritual components to improve aspects of health, particularly stress-related illnesses. And again, I'm reading an article here, guys, from NCBI. It is a 2011 article cited exploring the therapeutic effects of yoga and its ability to increase the quality of life. And so there's a million ways to skin a cat. There's a million ways to de-stress. I'm talking to you about, one of the oldest art forms and healing processes for a long time, right? So where yoga, I'm talking about mind-body fitness involving a combination of muscular activity and and internally directed mindful focus on awareness of the self, the breath, and the energy. The four basic principles of yoga underlying the teachings and practices of its healing system. The first is that the human body is a holistic entity comprised of various interrelated dimensions inseparable from one another, and the health or illness of any one dimension affects other dimensions. The second principle is individuals and their needs are unique and therefore must be approached in a way that acknowledges this individuality, and their practice must be tailored accordingly. The third principle is yoga is self empowering. The student is his or her own healer. The yoga engages the student in their own healing process by playing an active role in their journey towards health. The healing comes from within instead of from an outside source, and a greater sense of autonomy is thus achieved. The fourth principle is that the quality and state of an individual's mind is crucial to healing. When the individual has positive mind state, healing happens more quickly. Whereas if the mind state is negative, healing may be prolonged. So, guys, I hope you guys can see that, you know, medicine should be preventionary. As we talk about AI, as we talk about, fighting the war on opiates with things like cannabis or these other, men's health issues that, I discuss. And we talk about how healthcare access is a problem, how our, at least our society down here in the southern part of the United States, New Mexico, the border towns, diabetes is a problem. And access to care is a problem. A lot of stuff is there. I mean, yoga is a cool thing to talk about. Evidence shows that stress contributes to the etiology of heart disease, cancer, and stroke, as well as other chronic conditions and diseases. Due to the fact that stress is implicated in numerous diseases, it is a priority to include a focus on stress management and reduction of negative emotional states in order to reduce the burden of disease. Viewed as a holistic stress management technique, yoga is a form of CAM that produces a physiological sequence of events in the body, reducing the stress response. The scientific study of yoga has increased substantially in recent years, and many clinical trials have been designed to assess its therapeutic effects and benefits. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. This study that is kind of toting yoga, right? We were talking about how can you try to improve your respiratory and cardiovascular function, even consider treating recovery and addiction, reducing stress, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, improving sleep patterns, and enhancing overall well-being and quality of life. Well, yoga could be one of those things. And for guys, that's my challenge to you guys. Like, try some yoga. I know most of us guys can't touch our toes, and I'll be the first guy to admit it. But hey, get out there and give it a try. If you haven't done any other form of self-healing, self-care, this is one where you can get that stress down. I'm telling you guys, exercise as a whole is a winner. If you're walking, if you're running, if you're playing basketball, swimming, even if you're turning a wrench on a car, I don't care what it is, but keep moving out there, people, everybody, especially my men. We are losing to the women. We are literally dying like 5 years earlier, and we're only continuing to spread the gap. So they're outliving us. Shame on the men, guys, for sure. But anyways, just kidding. We're not men shaming this, but we're just mansplaining this, okay? You get what I'm saying? Still, again, joking, everybody. Cool. Anyways, so consistent yoga practice improves depression and can lead to significant increases in serotonin levels, coupled with decreases in the levels of monoamine oxidase, an enzyme that breaks down neurotransmitters, and cortisol. So cool, right? You get decreased cortisol as literally a physiological response from yoga, on top of the improved flexibility. I saw I think it was maybe more like a stoic meme or something on the internet the other day, but I thought it was intriguing. And it says, when you're born, you're so soft and so nimble and so malleable. When you die, you're so stiff and you're so rigid. So guys were dying earlier we're getting stiff and rigid earlier. Got to do something to loosen that goose. So, anyways, yoga, increase the levels of blood flow, increase the level of hemoglobin and red blood cells, allowing more oxygen to reach the body cells, enhancing their function. So, it's not a cure for cancer, it's not a definitive way to prevent it, but the feeling of peace may even be a desirable effect among cancer patients. And when you're looking at quality of life, the feeling of peace, it's one of the top aspirations there. Dharma, as Buddha would call it, I believe. So when you look at it, yoga, breathing exercise, and meditations can reduce stress outcome, promote healing outcome, enhancing quality of life for patients with cancer outcome. The growth of tumors and other cancer indicators are exacerbated by stress. Thus, it is especially important for people with cancer to reduce and manage stress effectively. So, even those of you that are, have cancer and stuff, definitely talk to your doctor and everything before jumping into a yoga routine. But this is not a bad idea to consider at all, for sure. So, again, as we do talk about and we segue into the next segment of our show here, guys, talking about enlightened living, yoga, that was fun. Next part, though, Herbal Wellness Corner, unlocking plant-based wellness, and you guys know what I'm talking about for those who do. Understanding dosage forms. So talking about different dosage forms, everybody, I want everybody to get a little bit of a lesson on the different types of dosage forms and how to particularly use them when it comes to cannabis, guys. So, all right, starting with the first one, the most questionable one, right? Cartridges. And not all carts are created equal, and it's actually probably, I think the industry has gotten better and safer since it's been recreationalized and at least more instituted of, regulated here in New Mexico. But talking about vape carts, basically two different types of main carts, distillate carts and live resin carts, right? Distillate carts, clean smoke. The cannabis extract is actually distilled, pretty much isolating like THC high percent. I know you guys probably, most people that see carts are going to see like, 90 some percent THC or right up there, depending on the different type of extract. So live resin, again, produces the full flavor effect. You've got flash frozen cannabises that went straight into the freezer. Do you guys know what flash frozen cannabis is, or should I go into this real quick? I will. I think I'm going to have to. All right, so check this out. When you're talking about like solventless extracts, that's something where you're talking about like the live rosins. So this is basically, solventless is considered ice or water, basically, and the wash is going to be with that. And water is still technically a solvent, but this is like the purest form. You're not running it through alcohol, you're not running it through anything. So when you do it, you take a fresh frozen cannabis that's harvested and immediately frozen. That creates the starting material for the wash. So then there's a solventless extraction. So it's literally ice and water. Some people use bubble bags, some people use other things, but there's machines that can do it for sure. It shakes it, it separates the trichome heads from the stalks. And what that means is the trichomes are going to be that rich phytocannabinoid, part of the plant. If you ever see the pictures of cannabis plants that are very, detailed and zoomed in, you've got the pistils right at the end, and then you've got those white, almost like water drop looking parts. And those are really the trichome heads. Those are full of all the cannabinoids. And so thus all of the trichomes, which are those crystalline extensions like I'm talking about, they come off of the cannabis plant. The round heads hold the terpenes and the cannabinoids like water literally about to burst. So what I'm saying, right, it looks like water almost. Like I'm sure you guys probably have seen these detailed pictures. If you haven't, even if you really if you're looking at cannabis or bud, right, if you're looking at like a frosty looking bud, those frost is really going to be heavy trichomes, right? So the terpenes in the trichome heads dictate the flavor, aroma, and taste, which are the main focus as they collect, what could be known as, that sauce, right? Or the water, hash water. The most ideal trichomes for ice water extractions have big heads and skinny stalks. So again, it does become differently. It comes filtrated differently. There's different kinds of unit sizes that separate the mesh, and the mesh will actually collect and hold the matter, and then the plant matter, and the extract is going to pour out. So the plant matter is stopped right up at the top, and then the trichome heads get caught, within the middle of it. So with that agitation, cold, trichome heads fall off the plant, and the plant is washed. And it's interesting because in the cannabis industry, I mean, you're going to see live resin, which is definitely going to be your most expensive. And because your yield is going to not be your yield isn't as good, so it's just going to create more work, which does cause more of a price increase for sure. And the quality is much better for the products when we're talking about these kinds of extracts, because you do preserve the terpenes in that fashion. Terpenes literally burn at, you're looking right above 130, 140 degrees, they start to burn. So when you want to preserve as much plant matter as possible here, and you're doing the hash water, you definitely want to be using ice and water and some severe agitation, not severe in a bad way, but the agitation is really going to make that go. So throughout the washes, after that hash water is pulled out and it's going to be freeze dried in a freeze dryer, that process is called sublimation. So, that band Sublime? Just kidding. Anyway, so freeze drying thus creates water hash to be sifted, collected, recorded, and tested before being put in the process. So then you get water hash. After the water hash is transferred, ice hash is now going to be put in a press. So the press presses out the rosin. So that takes it to a temperature right underneath the terpene burn. So it just depends on how that machine is set. But it's just going to be that full-on press, and it's going to turn that hash water into either batter, jam, or a cold cure, depending on how it's cured. So curing would be if you actually put it into a jar and kept it warm. That would get you different types of consistencies, being jam and batter. If you just let it cure at room temp, you're going to get cold cure. So again, we're talking about cannabis extracts, guys, for those of you guys who know or don't know, and dispelling the myth of what the heck is live rosin versus distillate. Live rosin is basically ice water extracted. Distillate is usually alcohol extracted. Those are basically the main differences. The alcohol extract is usually pretty dang good at preserving the terpenes and doing a great run. However, some people really like the creme de la creme, and it's going to preserve the terpenes in a much better way when you're using, live resin for sure, solventless extract. And again, guys, water is a solvent. So solventless is still kind of a funny word to me, but that is the cannabis industry for you through and through 110%. So that's definitely why I'm talking about that. But, you can find different great products. And I'm sure some of you guys that use cannabis may have tried these different types of products. All I would say is truly, you don't want to be adding in different terpenes and using products that go like that. So if you are going to try to experience a real terpene therapeutic effect, I would really recommend going with something like a live rosin product. And because we don't necessarily know how terpenes are experienced yet, it becomes a very individual process there to see if something makes you feel better than another product, for sure. And that's okay. And certain terpenes will create more of a euphoric effect, more of a laughy, giggly effect. Like, there's differences between some of these terpenes, but truly the industry is not quite there yet to start finding products and seeking it that way and to truly recommend it. I think you can recommend products within a guideline there, You just don't necessarily want to overshoot the jump, because product consistency is still hard to guarantee. And, I think people can find what's working for them and find patterns of what may work for them. Great when it comes to the cannabis industry. However, finding your dose and starting low and going slow is going to always be my top harp, 100%. And that's just how that has to be. But other than that, I mean, those are some of the different types of products I wanted to get at. I think everybody knows what flower is. So we talked about the other different types of extracts and the different consistencies there. Curious what people think about pre-rolls. I don't know if you guys maybe are ashamed to comment or not, but pre-rolls are like some of the highest sellers in cannabis stores in general. And I think it's because most people can try a pre-roll and throw it away. So it's interesting. Like, I feel like people that maybe are your initial cannabis confused and cannabis curious sort of folk will definitely go for a pre-roll, because it's probably the least burdensome and kind of the most traditional way to consume it. However, you can still use it through things like a tincture that goes under the tongue. Again, guys, if you are doing edibles when it comes to cannabis, please take it with a high-fat meal. Cannabis must be taken with a high-fat meal. It's highly important because cannabis is lipophilic. Cannabis loves fat. So when you eat cannabis, you should have some fat in your stomach. And no, I'm not talking about that, visceral fat. I'm talking about actually eating fat with the cannabis. So it can be metabolized properly and you get the most bang for your buck when you are actually consuming cannabis. So again, if you guys haven't heard the tip or the trick when it comes to ingesting cannabis edibles or cannabis tinctures, again, whether you're doing it for recreation or whether you're doing it for medicine, if you want the biggest bang for your buck, the most consistent dosing, my number one nugget for you guys is cannabis is a fat-loving lipophilic molecule to take it with something fat. So whether that's a cup of milk, ice cream, yogurt, cheese, peanuts, peanut butter, consistently, if you're going to be doing edibles and doing it that way, I would highly recommend using cannabis with something fat. That's all. So I think you guys get my take-home point there. Cannabis is a lipophilic molecule, whether it's CBD or THC or even CBG. If you guys don't want to waste your money, urinating out the metabolites, I would highly recommend combining it with something fat so your body can metabolize that fat. The THC can attach to it, or the CBD, and you can have the therapeutic effects that you're looking for. And that's totally okay. So again, be your brother's keeper. If you're at the dinner table with somebody that uses cannabis and you're like, hey, I heard that crazy pharmacist online talking about take it with fat food, boom. Somebody might just say, hey, I've never thought about that before, or whatever it is for their daily dose. For sure. So that's, I think, my take home point for everybody on that. That is super awesome. Again, welcome everybody. I hope we are having a wonderful Thursday afternoon, guys. Got my Instagram feed right here. I got my YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook feed right here. Hope everybody's doing well. Sending virtual hugs, handshakes, high fives, whatever you guys need. Hope everybody's doing great. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, rather warm here down in Las Cruces, but not too bad. We can get by. Again, moving on to the community spotlight portion of my show. National Intern Day, guys. So how cool is that? Celebrating the future of healthcare heroes. I was an intern, gosh, at this point, 6 years ago. That's crazy to think about. I really enjoyed being an intern. When I was a pharmacist intern, I guess I first started pharmacist interning in 2015. And then I did it all the way through 2018 until I got my pharmacist license. When I think of being a pharmacy intern, I really think of my fourth year of pharmacy school, the API year. That's where you get to go into different settings for 1 month rotations, usually throughout the year, tailored to your pharmacy program. And It's one of the coolest times in school and everything. I know it's frustrating because students take out lots of debt to thus go pay to work for free, but it's a nice place to go explore the world of pharmacy without any pressure to it, and to go see what you might like or you don't like. And I think over last year, I think I had probably like 6 or 7 interns or more, and they were all fantastic, each and every single one of them in their own ways. And I think it's cool to see how all of them are going to continue to go on and do different things. And they already have, and some of them are still finishing up their licenses and some of these other parts, but that's pretty awesome. So shout out to all interns, whether or not you're pharmacy interns, whether or not you're in medical school, whether or not you are a nursing student, whatever it is. Shout out to all the interns on Happy National Intern Day. Healthcare heroes, guys, that's pretty cool. I got one specific intern to shout out for my community spotlight here. And this is something that came out of the Doñana County Government Center as they were celebrating their National Intern Day. This was a cool opportunity that came up. So, from the Doñana County Government Center, thanks to Doñana County's partnership with Casa de Peregrinos, an emergency food program here in town, who is about to have their actual grand opening here, I think August 11th. So, shout out to Casa de Peregrinos to their new location right there at the Amador. During the 2023 Summer High School Enrichment Program, a student named Crystal Portillo was hired on and permanently as their new volunteer coordinator. So Crystal is a graduate, a recent one of the Arrowhead Park Early College High School, and her work ethic is evident in all of her accomplishments. So wishing her nothing but the best in her career going forward. I think that's a super cool shout out again from the Doñana County Government Center. Super, super cool for sure. So community spotlight, guys, National Intern Day to all those of you guys interns that I've had in my past, and to those of you guys who I will have in the future. Love you guys. You guys, I've seen each and every single one of you guys blossom and become your best self, and I'm very, very excited to see where everybody's going to continue to go. So shout out to all the student participants. It takes a village, guys, an absolute village, and I think everybody is already kind of key on that. Anyways, moving on. Last segment of the show, my men's health minute. Prevention is key, folks. What does that mean? Again, I'm going to keep harping on the stats for men's health, everybody. Man, we got to step up. More than 700,000 men are diagnosed with cancer each year. 300,000 of those cases result in death. 350,000 men die of cardiovascular disease each year. 230,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer every year. It's the second leading cause of death in men. More than 60% of American men are overweight or obese. Interesting. Citing a educational campaign for men's health from the Cleveland Clinic, surveying more than 500 American men ages 18 to 70 about their use of healthcare resources, found only 3 out of 5 men get annual physicals. Over 40% of men only go to the doctor when they think they have a severe medical condition, and more than half of men said their health wasn't something they talk about. I don't know, guys, we're better than that. So, men, we got to take a proactive approach to health, both physical and mental. So, 4 noteworthy facts that can be, the starting point for crucial dialogue regarding men's health. And again, guys, you've heard this already. Men are less likely to seek healthcare than women. It's a culture thing. Culture and media expect men to stand strong, expect men to rarely show weakness, to be like superheroes. This is a socially ingrained mindset, subconsciously training men to believe that going to the doctor exhibits weakness. So, a survey conducted by the Cleveland Clinic confirmed this trend, finding that 40% of men go to the doctor only when they have a serious health issue and never go for routine checkups. This number is far lower than women's frequency of doctor visits. Needless to say, it's a concerning figure. Men also tend to exhibit a fear of diagnosis. About 21% of men admit to avoiding the doctor because they're too nervous to find out what might be wrong. It seems that the pressure to conceal weakness is so strong that it can even lead men into a state of denial, and again, a worrying statistic. So to be clear, everybody, ignoring your medical problems does not make them go away. Same thing. Ignoring your bills does not make them go away. Same thing, right? Same thing. Again, prostate cancer affects 1 in 9 men. Men, turn a cough. Men, go check those nards. Men, go pee in the cup. Do what you got to do. Another thing, mental health, one of the most stigmatized issues affecting men. So, men, notorious for not talking about their feelings. No, not just another stereotype, literally a psychological documented trend. In the eyes of many men, discussing emotions is just another form of vulnerability that can lead to discomfort. It can be scary for many men to begin sharing their feelings, but the payoff can be worth it. It is. Men who express their feelings verbally are less likely to express them in other ways. So, again, talk to the men in your life, women or men, encourage them to talk about their day, tell you about their emotions, and to be open with you. Persistence is powerful, so make that happen. And men can be better, making better lifestyle choices, 100%. But we will keep repeating those same things, and we're gonna change some things there. I truly do believe that, guys. And I hope everybody's having a good night. I don't think I have any further questions for today's live stream. Stay away from ticks, guys. For those of you who, heard that. Appreciate everybody for coming on. Please be sure to smash a like, smash a share. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm looking forward to all that. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful evening. Virtual hugs, handshakes, high fives. It's your Dr. Joaquin. Hope everybody is doing well. Again, check the stream and we'll check y'all tomorrow.